Please confirm if it is visible. Okay then. Okay, let's get it started, guys. Today we are going to see about the degree of associations. Before that, let me open this many to many associations diagram. Where was it? Okay, many to many. Okay, associations are very simple actually. If you just practice, you will get it very easily. Okay, so this is many to many association high level diagram. This one is high level diagram. So the idea is, if you are dealing with two classes, and if you are keeping the reference of another class inside one class, okay, and if that reference has many number of objects, for example, in this case the contained class, and we have the container class. We are keeping a reference inside another class. That reference class will become the contained class, and the actual class is going to be what? The container class, right? So here if you see the logical understanding, the real-time analogy, one student can take any number of courses, right? And one course can be enrolled by any number of students. Okay, if you from both the sides, the relationship is many to many. Okay, example, Ratna Kumar can opt for Java as well as for Python. Okay, you are giving an option for the Ratna Kumar to opt for any number of courses or to enroll for any number of courses. At the same time, you are giving an option for the respective course to be enrolled by any number of students. Many to many. From here it's many, from here it is many. It's up to the students to choose between the courses, but you are giving an option. Okay, this concept is called as many to many associations in Java. And so this is how it looks like when you are representing this from the object perspective. So three objects are created for the courses, and each course has each course object has three different informations: course name, course B, and course duration. Right, like the three course object and two student objects. Okay. Student one can opt for opt to Java or Python. Student two can opt to any number of courses. You as a programmer, you have to enable that option. Okay, you do what? You enable that option by keeping the contained object in the form of array. Right, so multiple objects can be created for students, and multiple objects can also be created for courses. Okay, this is the example. Okay. So two packages we have. Every time place allocate one separate package for the main class, and for the other class you can place all those classes under one package. Right, that's all about this many to many associations in Java. Just a small recap I thought to give you. Okay, it is a relationship between two classes or two entities where many instances of an entity should be mapped to many instances of another entity. Same example, one role can enroll for many courses, and the opposite, the vice versa, one course can be enrolled in many courses. Okay. By this, the concept, the topic of associations, categorizations are completed. Okay, now we are going to understand about degree of associations. Very important topic. Degree of associations. Very important topic from the interview room. Degree of association. Okay, just to make this understand, we have discussed about these four associations: one to one, one to many, many to one, and many to many. Now we are discussing about degree of associations. Okay. Degree of associations again categorized into two types. One is aggregation. Very important point. Very important terminology. Second one is composition. Okay, you might get a question like, what is an aggregation, what is a composition? Before answering this question, I will let me take the real-time example. Let us understand the real-time analogy. Okay. For example, since you are students in your college, there is a concept of library. Not in every college. Okay, libraries are there in every college for students. So we have a library, right? And so from the library's perspective, library can be visited by students, right? And inside the library there can be books. Okay, just try to understand this. So we in the library there will be lot of books. The same time, the same library gets visited by many number of students, right? So if you take this library as a class, inside library you can have books and you can also have students. Yes or no? Inside library, books are stored inside the library. Books are stacked inside the library. Okay? And students will visit the library very often. Okay, there is a relation. Library as a relation. Okay? Relation with books, relationship with what? Students. But if you look at this relation closely, look at this two relations closely. Okay, from this direction, from the direction that I have specified. Okay, if you want to represent this in the form of Java classes, which one is the container class and which are the ones that are contained class? Can you ping in the chat box? From this direction, which one could be the container class? Which one could be the contained class? So I'm talking about which class, which entity can be a container and which entity can be a contained. Okay, can I say library is the container and books is a contained and student is also the contained entity? Do you agree with me? Because these two entities, this library has a relationship with these two entities. Yes or no? Are you getting this? Everyone? Good, Chaitanya. Are you able to get this? Right? See, these two have a relationship with the library. Now, let us see which one has the strong relationship and which one has the weak relationship. Okay, there is a relationship between library and books. Okay, there is a relationship between what? Library and books. There is a relation. There is a direct relation. And there is a direct relationship between what? Library and students. Which relationship is a strong relationship and which relationship is a weak relationship? I will explain that for you. Okay? Since it's the contained. Okay? Now just try to understand this. If there is no concept of library in the college, okay? If there is no library, of course, you cannot stack n number of books outside the library. You want to stack n number of books, huge amount of books. You want to stack huge number of books with different authors, different different novels, different story books, different science fiction books, different kind of dictionaries, different languages books. Library is mandatory. If library is course, there is no scope for you to take books, right? Books are part direct relation because books are the part of the library. If the library itself is closed, books will also be closed. Books, you cannot read the books that is stacked inside the library, right? At the same time, if the library closed, students can come out. Students will exist. There is no direct relationship between students and the library. The library is closed, students can visit some other place or student can visit the computer laboratory. Students as an option. It is not like students will also be contained, inside this, enclosed inside the library and locked from outside. Not like that. Students have an option to go out and there is an independent existence for the student. Right? There is an independent existence for the student, but for the books it is not like that. All the books needs to be, huge amount of books needs to be stacked inside the library. If you talk about this relationship, books and library, they always have what? They always have strong relationship. What? Strong relationship. Okay. What does it mean? The library is closed, books will be disabled, or you won't get access to the books. The library is open, books will also be open for you. Strong relationship. And relationship between library and students, they are always fake. Not only in this example, everywhere. No one likes to visit library. Students, they never like to visit library. Not like that. I'm just saying they never like to visit. So if the library concept is closed, if the library is closed, students has an option to visit some other places. Okay, they are independent. They're not directly dependent upon the library. So there is a weak relationship between what? Students and the library. Okay, this concept of strong relationship is called as composition in Java. Concept of the strong relationship. Okay, this is called as composition, where I can write here. Okay, let me write it here. Composition. This concept of weak relationship is called as aggregation. Theoretically, are you getting anything? Theoretically, forget about the Java programming part. Okay, this is a real-time analogy. Are you getting something from this real-time analogy? Yes, no? Strong relationship and a weak relationship is called as aggregation. Are you getting something out of this real-time analogy? Yes, no? We'll proceed further. Yeah, good. Thank you for your response. Okay, now you see. So we understood what is the degree of association. Under degree of association, there are two topics are there under degree of degree of association. One is aggregation, second one is composition. Let's go back to the theory and write some the differences between what is the difference between aggregation and composition. So let us talk about composition first, because they are strong in relationship. It is a strong association between two entities. There is always a strong association between two entities. If we close the container object, the container object is closed. Right? If the container object is closed, then the contained object will also be closed. Yes or no? Contained object will also be closed along with the container, because there is no chance of independent existence of the container. Independent existence of the contained object. In our example, books will be automatically, it will not be available to us if the library itself is closed. Direct relationship, strong relationship. Okay? So the lifetime of contained object is totally dependent depending upon the lifetime of the container object. You agree with this? Okay. Composition is saying what? By looking at the diagram, you can draft your own definition. Okay, there is no universal definition for this. Looking at this diagram, you can draft your own definition. Okay, this is what the container speaks. Okay, then what are the points on top of aggregation? Composition. What are the points on top of Java aggregation? Okay, just draft the theory in the opposite manner. That's it. Okay, container is strong association. It is strong association, but aggregation. Composition is a strong association. Aggregation is what? Weak association. If you close a container object, then the contained object may not be closed. Right? Lifetime of the contained object is totally does not depend upon the lifetime of the container object. Okay, if we close the container object, you agree with this? Very simple explanation. If you get this question in the interview room, the answer is very simple: aggregation and the composition. Okay, you can remember one thing, one theory, just draft the same theory in the opposite manner. you will get the answer for the other one. Okay, or else you can remember this diagram. By looking at this diagram, you can give the explanation. Okay, do you have any doubts? Shall we jump into the programming part? Yes, no? Everyone? Okay. So let us say take some the programmatic example for the better understanding. Okay, learning theory things won't help us. We need to understand this programmatically. Okay, first just let us understand about the aggregation thing. Okay, to understand this, I am going to take two classes. So the real-time example can be, okay, let me take the class car here. Name of the class is car. Okay, so for the simplicity, I am taking the one string value, string name. Okay, and I am taking another class here. This class is what? The engine class. Okay, I have two classes here, guys. One is the car class, second one is engine class. And again, inside engine class, I am taking one variable, engine name. Okay, and I am also taking another variable, string. Okay, let us keep it simple. Let us take it as engine. Okay, there is one entity in the engine class and there is another entity in the car class. Okay, now we need to make a relationship because car is not a unique thing. Inside the car there are so many functionalities, and so it is physically structured, and engine component is the main thing inside the car. So car is always dependent upon this engine. Okay. I am taking this engine reference ENG. Okay, now I have two classes. This one class and this class. Okay, by looking at these two classes, I can say that there is a relationship between two classes. What kind of relationship? Car as a engine means as a relationship. Same thing. I mean, even in aggregation also there is an as a relationship, because aggregation is the subset of association, degree of association. So it always talks about as a relationship. But the idea here is, now see guys, car as a engine, that is okay. The idea here is the engine that we are talking about. This string, I mean, the name is of data type string type, but the engine is of what type? Engine type, class type, or the object type. Okay, the car is dependent upon the engine. Okay, so if literally you can run engine separately, without car this engine will work. It has the independent existence. In the real time, car engines are completely independent. Without engine, car cannot work, but without car, engine can work. I hope you're able to you're able to get my point. This engine is completely independent upon this car, but car requires the engine. So container class, okay, this is a container class. Container class. Okay, I can call it as what? The contained class. Why contained class? Because the reference of this class is being used in another class. Contained, because this reference is being used in another class, so it is the contained class, and this is a container class. Don't you think that you can run the engine separately without depending upon the car? It is not like you should assemble a car and you should keep this engine in the car, then you can start running the engine. It is not like that. This engine has the independent existence. It can run separately. You can even shuffle the engines between two cars. You can assemble one engine in one car, and you can deassemble it and you can reassemble it to the different car. That scope is there for the engine. So this has always independent existence. Don't you think so? Engine is independent. So when I say engine is independent, it has self-existence, it will survive without the car. It means we are talking about what? Aggregation. Yes or no? Aggregation. What does the theory says? It is a weak association between two entities. Yes, we are talking about two entities. Okay. Is there a weak association? Yes, there is a weak association. Why there is a weak association? If we close a container object, the contained object may not be closed because it will function independently. Lifetime of the contained object does not depend upon the lifetime of the container object because this has the independent existence. Right? Let us let us write a program on top of this logic so that you will understand it better. Okay? Let me open my Eclipse. I will show it to you once again. Every day I will show it to you how to start the project. Okay, and by the end of the month we will start using Eclipse. Okay, file, new, Java project. Okay, the name of the project, let us keep it as association. Aggregation we will take. Yeah, aggregation. Okay, click on next and click on finished. Okay. A project has been created by the name aggregation. Okay, and expand this and click on src and click on new, over to new, and you will find a package. Click on package, create your own package, com.test.vehicle. The name of the package is vehicle. Finish. Create another package, especially to allow this package will be allotted for the main method. For the main method, we need to create a separate package. The name of the package is com.test.driver. Okay. Two packages are created successfully. I hope you are able to see this. I have created two packages. Okay. So one package, driver package, is allotted, not the car driver. Actually, driver means something that is driving, which means the main method. Java, we call it as the main package. Okay. So inside the main package, we will take a class. The name of the class is going to be what? Driver class. I am enabling public static void main because this class is the main class. Okay. This is done. And inside the vehicle package, we need to create two classes. One class is for the car. Okay. And the second class, again, right click here, click on new, click on class. Second class is for what? Engine. Okay. The design has been done successfully. We have three classes and two classes under vehicle package. One class is under driver package. Let me show it for you. Three classes here. Okay, let us design the diagram for this. Okay, so don't you think we have one package here and we have another package? Okay, and the name of this package is what? com.test.vehicle, and name of this package is what? com.test.driver. Okay. Inside this driver, I have taken a driver, name of the class is driver. Okay, and I have a main method. Okay, and that's it. And inside this package, I have two classes here. One class is what? Class car, and the second class is class engine. Okay, this is our design. This is our design. Okay, now go back to the program. Okay, always remember, guys, remember, first develop the program for what? For the contained class. I have been telling it to you for the last 4 classes. So which one is the contained class here? Engine is the contained class. First write a program for engine, for contained class, contained. Okay, develop the program for engine, then go for the container, second one. Then the third one is work on the main method. Are you getting this? 1, 2, 3. Right? So go back here. Okay. Engine.java is the container class. Okay. I'm going to take one variable name here. The name of the variable is, let us keep it as engine name. Right? Private. So this is called as what? Instance variables. Private. Then I can say that engine name, ENG name. Okay, So one variable has been taken. So this time, every time for the last 4 days, we are generating getters and setters. Usually why we generate getters and setters, guys? We generate getters and setters to initialize this instant, to set the value to this variable and to get the value from the variable. So what I'm going to do, we are not going to work on getters and setters. We will be working on constructors. Constructors also do the same thing. You can initialize the value with the constructor. Let me tell you. Constructor. There is an advantage with the constructor. With the constructors, you can do what? You can initialize the value to the instance variable. Right? How is that possible? We will understand it today. Right click here, click on source. Okay. After clicking on source, you will be able to see create and see an option like generate constructors using fields. Okay. So there is only one field, only one variable name. Click on generate. Constructor has been generated. By default, the Eclipse is going to place the super keyword also. Okay, this you can remove this, not required. Even if you place, if you see this, if you don't see this, the first line is always super. We have seen this in the constructor topics. Okay, constructor has been generated successfully. Okay, this is the constructor. Why this is the constructor? It is same as the class name, the same as the class level of access modifier, and it is accepting a string argument so that you can set the value while creating the object. One more thing, please remember. Okay, you need to place a default constructor, a no-arg constructor. I will tell you why you need to place this. Okay, this is an argument constructor. By default, the compiler, the Eclipse editor is going to generate the argument constructor according to the number of variables. Okay, we have one variable, that's why one parameter is passed. If we have two variables, two parameter constructor will be generated. If you have three variables, three parameter constructor will be generated. If you see any parametric constructor, please ensure that you are also placing a non-parametric constructor. I will tell you why. This is compulsory. I will tell you why this is compulsory. You will not face any errors. I will tell you why. Now, I have the engine class. Okay. Inside the engine class, I am applying two functionalities, guys. Because engine can be started. Public void start engine. So this is one functionality, and engine can be stopped. Engine stop engine. Okay, inside this, let us take one line to check whether this method is getting executed or not. Okay, so I am specifying what? Engine started, engine stop. Okay. Now if you study this class, I have a class engine, one instance variable. This is called as what? The instance variable. Instance variable. It has just been declared, and we have constructors. One is the constructor that is generated by the Eclipse editor. By using the Eclipse editor, we are generating this. Second is I'm asking you to place a default or the no parameterized constructor. Third one is these are our methods. What is it? Start engine method and the stop engine method. Okay, sorry guys. Public void main. Engine started, engine stopped. Okay. So contained class has been created successfully. I will do the tracing part. Please focus. Next, go to the car class. This is the container class. In this car class, I am taking two variables. One is private string. What is it? Let us take the name of the car. C name. Okay. Another variable is the reference of the contained class, engine. Right, so we are not going to generate setters and getters. We will depend upon the constructors. Okay. Now you see we have two instance variables. If I generate constructor by using this Eclipse editor, by right clicking on the space and click on source, generate constructor using fields. Okay, select all. Okay, click on generate. If I do this, I am getting a constructor which is accepting two parameters. Why two parameters? I have selected 2 instance variables, that's why we got 2 parameters. If you have 3 instance variables, you will get an option to select 3 instance variables. Okay, let me remove this super keyword, not necessary. Right? So when you generate the constructor by using the editor, anywhere, not only by using the editor, if you generate or if you write a constructor that is accepting some parameters, please make sure that you are also including a constructor that is accepting no parameter, a blank constructor. This is compulsory. I will tell you why this is compulsory. Okay, so far so good. So we will take 2 more methods inside this car class. Okay, public. So we have to start the car, right? Public void start car, one method, and let us take another method like public void stop car. Okay, do you think that the car will get started automatically? So internally, when you start the car, internally engine has to get started. There is a dependency for the car. You start the car by using the key, but that key is going to prompt a button inside to start the engine. So many things will happen inside. Dependency is there. Engine has to start, then you can move the car. Engine has to stop, then you can, of course, you can apply brake, but you will not be in a position to start the car once again if the engine is stopped, right? So here is inside this I'm writing a dependency. What is it? Engine. I'm taking this reference variable engine dot start engine. To start car, engine needs to be car. Engine needs to be started. We will do the tracing part. Don't be weird. Okay. Car is started. To stop the car, need to stop the engine. I mean, if you're parking the car, you need to stop the engine, then you can park the car, right? The direct relation between the engine. Stop engine. Okay, and you're writing a statement like car is stopped. Car is also stopped. Very simple. Car class is there, driver class, engine class is there. Okay. It has been designed successfully. Now go to the driver class. We need to create object. So far, if I run this, nothing will happen. No memory will be consumed. The output is going to be empty. You will not see anything. Even internally, there will be nothing because there is no logic inside the main method. So no memory will be consumed. It is just a plan, no execution. It is not getting executed. Why? Because in the main method, it is empty. No instructions are there. Right? Now we need to start the engine first. After starting the engine, we need to do what? We need to start the car. I've been telling you for the last 4 days as if you are creating an object, first create the object for the contained class, engine class. Okay, let us do the same. Engine E1 equal to new engine. I am passing some parameter. Why I am passing some parameter here? Because we need to pass some instance variables. Okay, the name of the engine is I am taking it as Alto 800. Okay, so let me write it here. Object has been created for contained class. Second, now you need to create object for the contained class. Contained class is what? Car. Car C1 equal to new car. Okay. Here it is asking for 2 parameters. One is because these parameters are to initialize the instance values to the instance variables. First one is name of the car. Car name can be Maruti Alto. Okay. And I am passing this reference engine reference here as a relationship reference here. E1. I am passing this object reference here. Okay. 2 objects are created. Now I can say that object has been created successfully for what? Successfully for the container class. two things are successfully done. Okay, because of these two things, what are the changes that is happening behind the scenes that we will understand. Okay. And also see, so there is a lot of things that is happening here. Okay, we have imported these two things. Why we have imported these two things? To bring a connection between these two packages. Okay, because of this import statement, what will happen? A connection will be created so that the main thread will access between these two packages. Okay. Now main thread has a scope to access the moment you created an object for the respective class. It is going to interact with the respective classes, car and the engine. Okay. To enable this connection, you need to do the import of the respective classes. Right now, let us understand these things. What are the things that are happening behind the scenes? Okay. Let me copy this code. So because of these two lines, focus here, guys. One is the object is created for engine, second one is object is created for the car. Okay, so because of this new keyword, you know that a memory will get allocated because of what? Because of the new keyword. Okay, what is the reference here? E1. What is the reference? Do we have E1? Yes or no? E1. Okay, the moment you do this, just blindly go to the class and see how many instance variables are there. Blindly go to the class. Which class? Engine class. Blindly go to the engine class and see how many instance variables are there. Shall we go? So engine class. How many instance variables are there? Only one instance variable. What is the name of the variable? ENG name. Something like that. You can give your own name. No issues. Okay. So this is ready to allocate memory for the instance variables. First conclusion. Engine name. Okay. Engine name is ready to allocate memory for the instance variables. After allocating this, okay, and we are passing some value, don't you think so? We are passing the values directly inside the constructor parameter, alto 800, right? This value will be assigned to this instance variable. Why this value will be assigned to this instance variable? Go back here, okay. So this is accepting, so this is the constructor, okay. This is accepting some value from where? From here. This alto.800 is being assigned to this engine name variable, okay, and we are using this keyword to transfer this data to the instance variable. Okay, in the runtime, what happens? This engine name is going to get what? Alto 800 value is assigned. Okay, this part is done. Previously in the yesterday's class, we have used setters to set the values. Now today's class we are using constructors. We are doing the same thing, but this time we are using the constructors. That's the only difference. Okay. Now the second thing, as soon as you see this for the new keyword, you know that, you know what? You know very well that for the new keyword, the memory space will be allocated. You know that. I don't think much explanation is required. Okay, and you also know that this is going to get the address reference as what? C1. C1. Okay, now you should also know that the moment you see this, it is for the car class. Okay, blindly go to the car class and see how many instance variables are there. We have two instance variables. One is C name and second one is engine. Remember this. C name we have, engine we have. Let me copy this. Okay, what do we have here? We have what? We have the C name. We have engine. It is ready to allocate memory for the instance variables that is defined in the class. And what values we are passing here for the C name? We are passing Maruti Alto. Yes or no? Okay, go back here. We are passing what for the C name? The driver class. We are passing Maruti Alto. So this value will be assigned to the instance variables. In our case, Maruti Alto will be assigned. Okay, and the engine, for the engine, what value we are passing here? Go back here. We are passing E1. E1 is a reference of another object. Okay, let's copy this E1. Okay, and let us paste it here. Okay, this is as a relationship. Okay, this is a value that is inside this. This is going to point here. So these are the changes because of these two lines. These are the things that has happened behind the states. One is the direct value. This one is talking about the direct value. Okay, Marti Alto. Okay, this one is talking about the object reference. Object reference. Are we good so far, guys? Yes, no? Since it is a constructor topic, I am explaining it to you slowly. Tomorrow we will combine these constructors as well as setters. Okay. Now see, now what are the things that we are doing here? Go back to the code. Okay. So this part is done. Now I want to start the car. This start car method is inside the car class. This start car method is inside where? Inside the car class. Okay, if I do this, now see what will happen. Okay, go back to the driver class. The start car is inside what? Car method. See, c1 dot start car. Okay, if I run this, engine started, car is started. Now focus here. We are getting something. Engine started and car started. One line I have used, c1 dot start car. Go back here. Okay, focus here, guys. c1 dot start car. Because of this line, car has started. I mean, that method has got, because of this line, you know, c1 is, this is a c1. Okay, if this is the c1, so this c1 is pointing to which class? Car class. c1 is part of car class, yes or no? c1 is of what? Car class. Okay, just remember, object will always allocate memory for the instance variables. Okay, but in the method area, there will be a method area. Okay, so inside the method area, all the method data will be stored here. Okay, how many methods are there inside this car class? Okay, if you see, forget about this constructor. This is also a constructor. Forget about this. We have start car method, we have stop car method. Yes or no? Okay. These details will be stored in the method area. Start car, stop car. Now focus here. These are the two methods that is inside, that will be placed in the method area. This is a memory area. Okay. So object will allocate memory for the instance variables, but method area will allocate memory for what? Memory for the methods. Method area will allocate memory for the methods. So we are doing what? We are calling c1 dot start car, right? So from the method area, c1 dot start car will get executed, which means this method has to get executed. Start car method has to get executed. So this has internally 2 lines. How many lines it has? 2 lines. Now see how some interesting thing will happen. Okay. Start car has, inside the start car we have this many lines. I mean, this many instructions needs to be executed. Right? What is the first instruction? Engine dot what? Start engine. Engine dot what? Start engine. Okay. Internally, this is depending upon the engine class. Very simple. Go back to this code. Okay. Here we are using this reference variable engine. Okay. By using that reference variable, we are starting an engine. Okay. This reference variable is part of which class? Engine class. Okay. The control will go to the engine class. Okay. And it has found the it will start the engine. Start engine. Okay. So internally, this call is for what? Engine call. Internally, this call is for what? This method call. Okay. You are doing one call, but this one call is internally making another call. Okay. You are just calling the start car, but start car is what? It is doing something inside. Okay. First, it is starting the engine. Okay. This method is getting executed, which is inside the engine class. Okay. And first line of the instruction will get printed at the console. Engine started. Okay. Then it will come back to where? Okay. Then it will execute these instructions. Car is also started. Okay, then it will come back here, then the the execution will get completed. Okay, you are calling the you are starting the car which is inside the car class. Internally this has a reference of the another object which is what, engine object. Okay, if I show the code, okay, so car is being started, but inside this what, you are starting another, you are giving another instruction which is supposed to start the engine. This start engine is part of what, part of different class, engine class. Okay, first it will start the engine, then this will all the instructions inside the start engine will get executed. Start engine method will get executed. Okay, so it will go to the this method. Okay, so this line will be printed, engine started, then it will come back to the car, then this line will be kept, car is also started. Likewise, if I do stop car, for the main method, c1 dot stop car, okay, I should be getting output like engine started, car is also started, engine stopped, car is also stopped. Okay, this has nothing explanation is here. Now you see, I can independently start the engine also. E1 dot start engine. Okay, E1 dot stop engine. Right, if I run this code, okay, firstly I am starting the car so that engine needs to be started. I am stopping the car so that engine also needs to be started. Correlation, when the car is started, first engine start the engine, when car is stopped, first stop the engine. Okay, without the car, without even having the car, I can I can start the engine by using by the standalone. I can just start the engine started, engine stopped. So the engine has no dependency. That's what I'm trying to say. This engine has no dependency. We have designed a class in such a way that the engine class is completely independent of the car class. But car class has a dependency about the engine class. Okay, if you go back to this example, okay, same example, books. If you close the books, if you close the library, books will be closed. It's a composition. But if you close the library, students will exit. Likewise, without the car dependency, you can operate the engine. That's what I'm trying to say. There's no dependency. This is the best example of aggregation. Best example of aggregation. I think you are able to, you are getting this now. Okay. If you want to understand the flow, very simple. Let me repeat it once again. Okay. Contained object has been created for the contained class. Object has also been created for the container class. After what I am doing, I am trying to execute a method on top of which is inside the container class. Container class method. Okay, but inside this method, I am placing a reference of what? I am placing a reference of what? Another method. Internally, I am calling the engine method, start engine method. The start engine method is part of what? Engine class. Start engine method is part of what? Engine class. It will execute that method in the engine class, then it will come back here and it will execute the remaining statement. Likewise, stop, I am placing the reference. So I am giving an option to place the reference. I am enabling an option to place a reference. If I am enabling this option, this engine class has the independent existence. That's what I'm trying to say. So even if you're using it or not using it, still the engine will work. The object reference of this engine will work. You can independently start working on this engine class also without even having dependency in the car class. You can start the engine, you can stop the engine. Right now, I was also telling you you can also place setters and getters here. You can also place setters and getters here. Now you see, let me go to the car class. Okay, we have constructors. You can also assign the values by using getters and setters. Just type get and give control place, get car name. Just type get and give get control place, get car engine. Likewise, just type set, give control space, okay, set car name. Okay, this is shortcuts. Next one is what? set engine. Okay, getters and setters are generated manually. Manually in the sense I am just giving some first 3 letters. I am hitting control space so that it is giving me the suggestions. Right, getters and setters also generated. Okay, this especially the setters are is going to do the same job of constructors. You can assign the value for the car objects by using the setters also. Okay, now you see the reason why we have taken the no parameters constructor is because of this. We want to set the value by using the setters. Okay, go to the driver class. Okay, you can create an object for car C1 equal to new car. C2. C1 is already a C2. Okay, I have created an object no parameterized constructor. Okay, this time this is a no parameterized call. On top of this reference, I can set value for the car. Set car name. I can set the value. This time I can set the value as Tata. Okay, by using setter to set values, I need no parameterizer constructor. No param constructor is required to set values to the instance variables by using setters. Right? So no parameters constructor is required to set the values to the instance variables by using what? By using setters. Right? So you can take, if you want to initialize values, you can use constructors or you can use setters. But if you want to use setters, definitely there should be one no parameterizer constructor, because you will be calling this constructor to set the value on top of this object reference. You'll expect this one. If you are not using this, okay, now you see what will happen. Go to the driver class. It is giving us an error. It is asking you to add arguments to match. It is asking you to create constructor of empty arguments. This constructor will not be found by the JVM. This constructor will not be found by the JVM. That's why to enable this, you always want to take what? One no argument constructor. Because this will help you to set values by using this. Will help you to set values for the instance variables, the setters. Okay, that's it guys. If you practice this thing, you will get this. Tomorrow on discussing about the composition topic, you will get the better understanding. Trust me. Okay, just do the practice and do some observation. You will get the better pictures. The conclusion is very simple. Okay, internally, on top of one object call, this object internally, this method is going to depend upon another method. It's going to use the reference of another method. So to start the call, start the engine, which means execute the method that is inside the contained class and come back and execute the call. Dependency. If you keep the dependency, loosely coupled dependency. Dependency. Okay, then it is called as what? Aggregation. Because this engine will exist without even having to without even having any dependency on the car. Okay. So that's all for today. Just do some